welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm actually on Hugo. We are at a Cotswold Cup doing the 80 centimetres at Grade 2. Yeah, I just thought it'd be a bit of fun really to bring the hunter out and do a bit of eventing. Treating it more as a fitness thing than anything else. The ground is really good today. We've had a lot of rain recently, but I'm not going with stud holes with him today because it seems good enough. I might change my mind in the jumping phases, but for dressage he's just going to go as he is. And he's been a very good boy today. He's been so easy to deal with, which is a nice change. And yeah, really looking forward to today, and fingers crossed he's a good boy and that we have fun and that we come home safe and sound. Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Here we have Hugo doing his first dressage test with me, and he was a very good boy. He scored a 31.5, which I thought was very good, because later you can see that we mess up our first canter transition quite badly, but he was a very good boy and he didn't jog in his walk, and in general he kept his cool. This 20-metre circle, sadly he got the sneezies and sneezed twice, but he kept his outline and frame really well, and I'm very lucky that he's a very forward-going horse, and so he had a lovely active trot, and we've got a few comments in our test sheet saying nice and active. In this test I just wanted to keep him nice and relaxed and keeping him nice and focused on the job ahead, and I think he did really well. And here you can see where our canter transition sadly just didn't go to plan, and he does, I think, do a flying change, bless him, and then he came straight back and worked really well over his back and actually settled into his canter and wasn't too rushy. Sometimes I feel when I've been practicing this test that I'm going to be leaving the arena at a very fast pace, but he was really good, and here you can see I do struggle to get him to trot, but again, he keeps a pretty good outline, and he was quite accurate on his walk transition, which I've been really practicing. And then onto our walk, which again, he's a very forward-going, active mover, so I was just trying to keep him as relaxed as possible over the back and try and stay as still as I could so he didn't jog, which he didn't, so I was very pleased with him. And I actually think we scored a 6.5 or a 7 for that movement, which I thought was quite generous because he didn't really stretch, but he did have a nice rhythm. And then onto our trot transition, I was a bit hesitant to kick him on for the upwards transition as I didn't want him to explode, and as you can see he's a bit tense starting off on this rein, and the transition into trot was a bit slow, but then after a little bit on this rein going into this 20-metre circle he does relax a little bit, and then preparing for our other change of rein. I was also concentrating on his bend because around the corners sometimes he just likes to rush and go around them like a motorbike, but I thought this diagonal was really good. Again, a little bit tense, but overall it was quite a nice across the diagonal change of rein, and then a very smooth canter transition. I was really pleased with that, and then this canter actually was a lot better than our first canter, and it was a nice size circle, and I think we got a 7. The comment was lovely movement and rhythm. And then again, preparing myself for the downwards transition. As you can see, he's quite strong. I think he's just excited for the jumping phases. And then our final across the diagonal, which you had to give and retake the rein over X, but I don't think I made it very obvious. So throughout this test there were definitely some movements where we could have scored a bit better, and I could have ridden a lot more accurately and prepared him for. But overall, for our first dressage test together, I was so pleased with him. And then just down the centre line, preparing for our walk transition at X, and then again keeping him walking, not jogging, and then preparing for our halt at G, which I was very pleased with, and big pats for him at the end. Hugo and I have just done our first ever dressage test, which was very sweet. There was very much good bits and very much bad bits. Our first canter was a bit excitable. He hit off on the wrong lead, and then he corrected himself, and I think he did a flying change, I'm not sure. I ended up being on the correct right lead. And then he walked, he didn't jog, so I was really pleased with him for that. and I thought some of the trot work was quite smart, and then a lot of the time he just felt really rushed, and I think he's excited for the jumping. But yeah, he's a very good boy. He's kept his head pretty cool all day. He warmed up really sweetly. And yeah, we're going to pop him on the box now before I walk the show jumping course. But yeah, he's been a really good boy all day. And then on to our show jumping round, which sadly wasn't the best. We had 4 poles. As you can see, I just don't think he respected them. He basically just tapped them, sometimes with his front legs, sometimes with his back legs. I don't think it was a particularly awful show jumping round, as we got quite good strides to everything. I just don't think he was very careful, bless him, which is fair enough. He's used to jumping hedges out hunting. But he was really brave. I was actually expecting him to be a lot more spooky, but he was a very good boy. So we've just done our show jumping, which was not the best. I think he just didn't really respect the fences, and he was very, very strong. But we're going on to cross country, which is what he's been looking forward to all day long, haven't you, Hugo? So yeah, we had, I think, 16 penalties in the show jumping, but he got a 31 dressage, which I was very surprised with. He's had good bits and bad bits of the day, but I'm sure he's going to really enjoy his cross country round. And yeah, we'll see you at the end of the day. And then on to our cross-country round, which was brilliant. We both had so much fun, and he was really, really good. And we jumped clear inside the time, and he came through the finish flags full of running. He had plenty still in the tank, and he caught his breath back really, really quickly, and he was awesome. We just finished our cross-country round, and he was a really, really good boy. We went clear inside the time. I thought we went a little bit quick on the watch, but it came as clear inside the time. He was really, really good. He just chugged along. I knew he was going to really enjoy his cross-country round, which he did. And yeah, he went through the water really well. He did all the combinations. He got all the strides. And now he's a little bit sweaty, and we're just going to load him up and then probably grab our dressage sheet, because I was very surprised by our score with the 31. And then yeah, just need to work on that show jumping, but I'm not too bothered because it's just a bit of fun here today and fitness work for him before the hunt season. There we have it, mine and Hugo's first ever event, and we actually placed 12th, which I was really pleased with. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more.